there's a bat. Look at that. Whoa. Go ahead. There's a lot of gold here. There's a lot of gold here.
My family's been chasing California gold for generations. Now it's my turn, and I'm risking everything to finish what they started. And today, we're going to be using geophysics to show us the exact spots that we need to find all of that gold.
Yeah, it's been a couple of days since we've been on the mine, and L8's coming up so we can do geophysics, and we're going to go out there and we're going to crush it. We're going to get all the information we can, and it's super important because, you know, we can do a lot of things to change the outcome. Like, we can change the wash plan. We can do all the different kinds of things with the water. We can get different experts in, all that, but we cannot change the geology. That's what it is. So like we have to start with that. Like, we are assuming, based on all the old reports, that there's a certain amount of gold there based on a certain volume. So we have this idea, but we don't know if that's true. What if we do this geology and I find out bedrock's like really close to the surface compared to what we thought, and all of a sudden the volume of material I have is like cut in half, or cut in a third, or cut in a quarter. Like, all of a sudden I have a quarter of the material. You know, 40 million just went down to a lot less.
So I've got a geophysics business where we survey mines and construction sites to figure out what's beneath the surface. About 3 of these jobs a month pays the bills. Any more and we're making money. But right now, all my money is going straight back into the mine.
We've invested so much money into this and so much heartache and time. So if it doesn't pay off now, that's gonna be very bitter.
So geophysics is basically using science to study the Earth. But today we're going to use a technique called refraction. So we're going to be sending lines of sound waves into the Earth to find the bedrock. And then we're gonna know exactly where to dig to find the most gold.
I mean, I'm gonna have a very, very good understanding of how much material there is on the cubic yard. And that will equate directly to the amount of gold. And you know, of all the things that they've done here since 1931, one of the things that they have not done is geophysics. This is a technology that allows you to see and like look deep into the Earth to understand what's there without actually digging. If you're gonna go out here and drill, it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars to get even close to the same amount of information that we're gonna get in just in a day's work. So that's the good news. We're here. Geophysics.
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm ready to do it.
Let's do it. So we're gonna check out the thing we saw a couple days back. There's a cave up there.
That's the cave.
Whoa! Whoa! Watch out. Pushing.
Well, we gotta go in there.
The stalactites. That's sick.
Oh, dude, look at that. That's
Yeah.
all crystals.
Yeah, dude. Look right there, dude. Look at how thick that is.
Look at the yellow. Whoa, look at that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's like sulfury stuff, or what is it, huh? They just blast through this, huh? Back then they'd just be like setting charges and exploding it. Whoa, there's a bat. Look at that. Whoa. There's another one. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. That scared me for no reason. That is not a reason to be scared. But he has a huge set of ears. Look at that thing. That's like that's not a little brown.
Where is it?
It's right there.
On the ground?
No, it's right there. Look at his ears. He's right there. He's huge.
Oh, dear Lord.
I mean, it's like one bat.
Okay.
Oh, baby. I mean, it's not like he's gonna like come at me, is he?
Oh, he went out.
Oh, he did? I didn't even know. See? It's like
They're quiet.
Whoa! Oh, what was it?
A bat just came out. Oh my god.
All right. Are there more? Are there more coming out? That spooked me a bit.
We're fine now.
I mean, bats are almost like 100% of them have rabies, practically.
Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, this is awesome out on this side.
Yeah. You feel like you're emerging into some other like land.
Yeah, I mean, we could crawl that way and go around, and it does just go around if it's not too poison oaky.
I think we should.
I mean, that's like a whole road type layout down there. That's pretty flat by the river. That's all poison oak. He's lost his leaves already somehow.
Oh. It's true. Dude, I was just like looking at the wall and then I hear you guys yelling. So I look to my side and I just see a bat flying straight at my face. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a weird place to pop out. Like, if you could make this awesome. You could like make that into a whole, like you put like a redwood deck out here. Hot tub.
No, imagine
Sauna, dude. I'm serious.
just like
dude.
cot, like a couple cots on the side that are really cozy.
Yeah, the wind would just be like, it's hot, but you're just like getting it. And like, yeah, you can make this into something. You wonder how much stuff was hidden here, you know?
like miners with like millions and millions of dollars of gold just like everywhere. That's where the bears like to hang out. If you're in here, you're like crawling around, like trying to get through, and then you hear the bushes moving around, and you can smell like nasty oil of a bear. You probably shouldn't be there. This is a good area because if you go down in the pit, what you notice is that there's like bedrock. So what I want to do is put a line across there and see if I can catch that transition. So I can definitely see like, oh, bedrock is here, and then all of a sudden it drops off. If it drops off all of a sudden, that would be a really good place because there's sediment all on top of it. That would be a very good place for like sediments like either going over the top and then falling in. If that's the case, then gold could be trapped right at that level, like kind of honey hole. We would know then the quantity. So if the bedrock's like way over there and then it drops, then we have way more material here to mine. So right now I'm just taking a measurement using GPS. So I want to know exactly where this position is because I need to know where each one of these phones is. We're like doing multiple things at once. We're like listening to background noise right now of the earth doing what it does and seismic signals that are just traveling all around. That can tell us some information, but then in the next part we're going to actually hit the ground and create our own source like a shock wave, and it's going to go and we're going to use that to analyze another type of data. And between all of the data, we're going to create these models where we can figure out, like, we think that the bedrock is this depth. We think that the mining material, you know, the placer mining material is this thickness. And then we put it all together across the entire site, make like a 3D model from it. At the same time that we could get lucky, and it could all be good, it could be very unlucky. Because maybe instead of having more material, we have way less material, and all of a sudden, you know, it's just big boulders and bedrock, and there's like really, yeah, fine if it's rich with gold with the stuff between it, but if it's like this thick, you know, then no, that's not enough material. And we've invested a whole bunch of time and effort and tractors and equipment, and like half of it's already mined, and we're pretty much not going to have enough here to make it even break even, you know, and then that's a loss, and you have to shift gears and figure out what to do about that. So go ahead. I definitely should have brought headphones of some sort.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I have all the earplugs too.
Thank you. These are going to be my makeshift earplugs because this is loud.
This is why Grandpa Ed was deaf and
Has
why
no
Grandpa
hearing.
Bruce is deaf too. Go ahead.
Wow, I've never seen this angle of this pit right here. This is the main pit where they were getting all their pay. It's pretty cool. So right down there, there is a little pond where the river is flowing underground and kind of seeping in, which is what's going to make mining down there kind of hard because we'll have to pump that out.
As you can see, we are busting our asses. We are hurting. We need help. So if you want to help us, just hit that subscribe button. You can follow along, become one of our friends. You can give us all the advice you want, like some people do. Totally exciting to get that good advice from people, of course. In order to show you more, we got to have a lot of you guys out there helping us. So hit the subscribe button if you like it.
So we're gonna go ahead and just drag the line down. It's so straight, we're just gonna move it. And we're gonna have an overlap of like 20 or 30 feet. So they've got lines that are overlapping data. And we'll do one more going towards the wash plant. And that's another important area. And then after that, we might do one going by the Grizzly down towards the river, like perpendicular, and kind of get like, you know, a couple different directions and see, and we'll see how we feel if we want to do more today or if we want to, you know, call it a day. Normally we take all of this apart 100%, but it's so flat and easy, this is fine. Well, a lot of times then it's just like more work to drag it somehow, but this is working okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep hole. I mean, it could be an animal, but honestly, I think it's probably where maybe there were mine tailings under all of this. And then when they decided to build the road, they just put like softer soil on top. And now with the rain and stuff, the soil is kind of seeping into the cracks. Because if you look like over there, it's like big boulders because they got all the fine dirt out to find the gold. And I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here. It's just kind of caving in. So hopefully it's not too bad, because we probably will be driving big machinery here. And I mean, if it's like that, then you can't drive a big D6 over that if it's gonna cave in, so.
Yeah, so geometrics, geode. I've worked with a lot of different seismic units, and this one, the seismographs, and this is like, has become one of my favorites. And you can put a bunch of them together and they work well, but they're not cheap. Like used, this was like $24,000 for this thing. You know, like custom batteries that last forever and are like hard to mess around. I've had this for like 10 years and it's like perfect still. I think that was like probably 500. Cables and stuff, they're just stupid expensive. This is like a $7,000 cable because it has all these different you know, connectors. Geophysics stuff is unfortunately specialized and hardly anybody buys it, so it's expensive. So to have a good setup, once you have it, it's good. But you know, you can buy them used on eBay, you'd be surprised. I've purchased, you know, stuff that was $1 million you know, that on eBay, you know, when it was new, but on eBay I've purchased it for, you know, 30,000, and it's like 10 years old. And then you have to have the software. So like none of this really works without being able to like run the software, but that too can be, so a lot of it's free, but then you can pay, you know, tens of thousands of dollars for good software. I had one software that I was trialing at one point for like oil industry, and it was all for 3-dimensional modeling, and I asked them for the license. It was like $250,000 for the license. Yeah. I was like, okay, how about the educational license? Is that one free? Yeah, pretty wild. This Toughbook is still on Windows, yeah, XP. It's really like, yeah, I've gone through like 4 of these, so they're not that tough, but I've had 4-wheelers roll over on them and stuff like that, and they're fine. Like in general, they're fine. Panasonic, I think they have a problem with the cooler in here. Like it gets overheated and then it's gone. I've like lost data and it sucks. So they're not the greatest, but I've had a lot of other computers out in the field and they break like instantly. Like 1 grain of sand in the keyboard and it's over. Stuff like that. Yeah, that was a crack. There it is. Yeah, so we're done with line 2. We're gonna go over by the Grizzly and now do a line in a slightly different direction that's more like perpendicular to these, and it'll go right across to where we were working on the high banker, and then we'll call it a day there. This is gonna be a good line. I mean, right across the middle. It's like one of the few spots where we can go like easy right across the middle.
So it's been a few weeks since we ran those lines, and I've collected all the data and have some very interesting results. But instead of just showing you on my computer, I thought I'd get back on the mine and show you what we found and how it's gonna help us mine for this gold. So a few weeks back, we were doing the geophysics out here. We're trying to figure out everything that was going on, right? This is one of the lines I'm gonna show you, kind of give you an idea of what we were looking at. So if you look at this hillside that's over here in front of us, like that's going up and there's bedrock on that side and it's steeply dipping down towards the river. When I say dipping, it's like at an angle that's going down, just like where the trees are growing, that's all bedrock. And it comes straight down at a very steep angle under our feet and goes all the way down under our feet. The farther we go towards the river, the deeper this amount of material goes until you hit bedrock. And if you're in the pit, which is over here, you can see that. So they got to this point where it was very difficult to continue moving forward and going because it was so steep and so deep. And look at the walls, they're caving in all around you. So somewhere below our feet is bedrock. We found bedrock right down here when we were with Dave.
I guarantee this is millions of years old because
Oh yeah.
it's sitting on the rock.
That's a chunk of the bedrock.
And it's right around the bottom where the water is on that right side. And the same thing, is dipping very steeply. It's trending in that direction. It's steeply dipping this way towards the river. And so if you look over here where we did our line, I can show you. If you look at where we did our line here, this is showing 0. That's where our first geophone was, which is over there. It was right over by the edge. So Ellie was hitting there, that's line 0. 230 feet this way, so 230 feet from there, somewhere over by that little tiny tree. So this is the way that the ground works, is that you've got really, this red area is high velocity, which represents bedrock. By the time you get to maybe 8,000 feet per second, which is the velocity of the signal moving through the ground, it's very dense. This could be right here a channel, as you can see. It's got that shape to it that shows the channel. It's also got a little bit of a dip going back this way. So there could be a couple places where bedrock pops up and goes down, which we observed that over there. The bedrock's going down and it comes back up and then goes back down to the river. This gets back to the paleo channel. Where could there be an ancient riverbed? The highest concentration of gold is going to be in these places where there's probably a little deep spot. So, you know, in reality, where you're going to maybe hit that really rich ground is probably somewhere over here around 160 feet. So if we were to just map out 160 feet over, probably right around in here, which they were following that. So they were probably following that for a reason. What's interesting though, is you look at this, is that, yes, that's true, but you also have this right here, where it's really could be dipping back this way as well. So if that's the case and you're dipping back in that direction, there could be like an old original channel that was right next to that. And so one of the ideas could be, hey, let's go ahead and go and move our way that way, because as we move this way, we're in groundwater. Like groundwater's right there, you can see. So how many feet can I go below that? But we can get here easier, stay out of water and see. So that would be one way, is to check that way first. As you clean all this stuff out, put it back in the area where we were already working, where they've already done all the work. What we really need to do is add more of these lines. We can do one over there, we can do one going that way. The more of these you have, the easier it is to create a 3-dimensional model. These are 2-dimensional models and you can connect the dots.
So these refraction lines give us a picture of what's going on underground, and I need to keep running them to have a full picture of the bedrock across the mine site. But last week I brought my LiDAR scanner to the mine and made a 3D model of the surface.
So what you got here is the Parascom PX80, and it's an older LiDAR unit, and basically there's a set of lasers. There's 16 different lasers in here that are shooting out, and the field of view goes out something, you know, comes out at like an angle up, angle down, and so there's all these lasers coming out, and they hit things and reflect back, and they're received, and it tells you the distance to them. And then you're able to tell the difference between what's a tree, what's a rock, depending on the number of returns that come back. So the laser goes out, it hits, it returns, and it's travel time. And then you can get distance based on the speed of light. So basically you're walking around here, you're using lasers to identify every single thing in 3D space. It creates a 3D model, and from that 3D model, you have a really good understanding of what the topography is. And if you have that in the pit, then you know exactly how much volume they've removed. I mean, basically we can determine volume, depths, angles, all kinds of things like that. And so we want to have this part of the data so that we can use it with our geophysics to get a really accurate understanding of where bedrock is, but also how much material is left.
This is like, you know, 12 meters high, and as you go down, like here's like the 0 ranges in the white. By the time you get down to like the dark blue, you're like 17 meters lower. That's a big difference between here and here, right? So that's a lot of material that hasn't been mined.
So the 3D model, for everyone, just in simple terms, is showing where bedrock is, it's showing where surface elevations are, and it's showing the difference between the two. It's showing basically all of the gravel that's sitting on bedrock. If I know all of the gravel on bedrock, I know how much material I had to overburden. It's either pay or it's overburden. We've tested, and that material has stuff in it. My grandpa always ran it. It just wasn't as rich. Now we just did some tests on the bedrock. We have to figure out really how much is there, but I think we're gonna find out there is quite a bit probably at that point. But we really need to check these sweet paleo channels, because if that's a channel on this side and that's a channel, that's a very promising channel. But we'd have to go down, in that case, yeah, 60 feet. So 60 feet below our feet. There's a lot of gold here. There's a lot of gold here. That's like both in anecdotal stories from people and proof and like paperwork, and we're finding it, but we just don't have the capacity to run the pay and get to the spots yet. I say yet, because we will get to the spots. We will get there. Of course, we're gonna need your help to get there. So subscribe.
So now we know exactly how deep bedrock is in these spots, and we found some promising channels that could be full of gold. I still need to do some more refraction lines to develop a 3D model of the entire mine site, both above and below the ground, but this is a great start, and now we know exactly where we need to dig for that 40 million in gold.